What's going on, 508? We're back. This is episode number 2. I got my man Andrew Cormier here and my boy Ryan Massoud in the house. Finally, the three of us are going to be the ones that kind of put this show together. We had the idea, so here we are. This is episode number 2. We're coming to you from 508 Fade Room in the back. I want to thank Ashley and all her people over here for hosting us, letting us use her spot. It's a great little spot. We're looking to get our own spot very soon. But again, 508 Fade Room, anybody needs to look fly, come see Ashley and her people down here at 508 Fade Room. Also, I want to give a shout out to Mikey. Go ahead, you could say it.
Mikey 3D Prints. Mike Lopes made the sign for us. We appreciate it, Mike. It's real good quality. If you're looking for anything that's a chain, a sign in general, just reach out to him. His Instagram is Mikey 3D Prints, and just contact him, and he'll be able to hook you up with whatever you need. Give him the design idea. He'll see what he can put together. But it's definitely a great idea. I know I've also used it. My Tremblay's baseball team, our team chain, our all-star team chain, all came from Mike. So I appreciate that. And if you need anything, just reach out to him.
All right. So, like I said, this is our second episode. We got some ideas to talk about. Again, we want you guys to get involved. Come and mention to us if there's any topics you guys want to get into. Today we're going to get into Celtics, Red Sox, Patriots, talk a little Bruins, and we can't not have a podcast and talk without talking about that USA-Canada game. So let's get right into it. First thing, guys, as far as the Celtics season, we talked about in our pre-meeting, whatever. I think what we're looking for is who has been most important, the biggest key, the most important to the Celtics' success this year. I'll go out to Ryan first. Who do you think had the biggest impact on the team?
Sure. For me, I have to go with Brad Stevens. I mean, he's been a constant in the franchise forever, from when he was the head coach all the way till now, where he's the GM. I think his moves, he maneuvers pretty flawlessly through who he adds, who he drops. You know, like we had guys like Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. They were all-star players. You know, we moved on from them after winning a championship with them. You think, oh, who knows, the team's not going to perform. Jason Tatum tore his Achilles. He's been out for a while. Still managed to be near the 1 seed, competing with any good team in the league. Jaylen Brown takes that step forward. Derek White was such a great acquisition. So for me, Mazzulla is doing a great job. You can't overlook how great he's been as a coach this year and what he's done as a job. I feel like coaching in the NBA is a little less important than it is in things like the NFL or like hockey, NHL, baseball, just because those guys, they know what they're doing. They get on the court and they're going to operate as a unit, typically led by a guy like Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. But for me, for my money, it's Brad Stevens, able to keep the organization going, interchanging the roster the way it goes. That's
it. Get it? Well put. Andrew, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I put a lot of thought into this because, so same thing with like basketball. I think a lot of times in basketball, there are very few coaches who really have an impact on a team. Basketball is one of those sports where it's very player and star driven, right? And you can have a coach who's either average or below average, but your team can still be successful. This team's a little different, though, just the way the expectations for the season was going. So I was thinking about, Joe Mazzulla, Jaylen Brown, especially how the leadership role that he had to take with Jason Tatum going down. But I ended up always still coming back to a lot of the points that you made with Brad Stevens. I don't know how many GMs there are in the NBA right now who can take a team, revamp it in an off season, and still keep them a top 3 team in their conference. Even though the Eastern Conference, I think, is a little bit weaker than the Western Conference, he was able to pretty much overhaul a large part of this roster, but pick the right guys along the way. So not even just when you make the salary, just how he's managing the salary cap too, and bringing in like Anthony Simons, right? A productive player who then he ended up flipping for Vucevic. But then you draft a guy like Hugo Gonzalez, right? You sign a guy like Luka Garza. I mean, all the other pieces that he was able to bring in, and then the pieces that didn't work, like the Chris Bouchers and stuff, shipped them out. And just the way he molded this roster, I came back to him as being, I think, the most important or most influential to the success of the Celtics.
Okay. My thoughts. it's hard not to agree with the both of you. I tried to. Missoula, definitely, we'll get into it some more here with Missoula, I think a little bit later on the topic or not, where I think he deserves a strong consideration for coach of the year, personally. Then you have Jalen Brown. The guy went from can he do it to MVP candidate, literally.
Right.
For sure.
Big reason why this team's success this year.
For sure.
I know with everything else that has gone on, again, if he doesn't take that step up like they needed, they're not there. So his importance is huge. But I honestly would agree that Brad Stevens just over and over consistently makes the moves that it's almost like the opposite of the Red Sox. The moves that
Right.
you want to see him make, he makes.
Right.
Right.
Whatever it takes, like he makes that move. How many years have we been hearing Vucevic coming to the Celtics? Mm-hmm. How many? A bunch. Because he feels like he's that perfect fit.
Right.
You know? And he went and got it.
Yep.
And we got into it last week about how I feel with Tatum and
With Tatum,
Vucevic
yep.
to the team. And again, by the way, I don't know if you heard, he's
Nice.
cleared.
Yeah.
Tatum,
Tatum has been cleared.
Yeah. But one thing I will say with why Missoula has a strong case for being the biggest reason why the Celtics have been successful is because of the way I didn't think he was ever going to change from the three happy offense that they did. But if you really watch them play, they still shoot a bunch of threes, but they really kind of changed their game, and they're okay taking that mid range, right? And the way he's coached and the way their offense has changed throughout the year, I think he changed once at the beginning of the season, the way they started off slow, and he realized that, okay, we don't have the same pieces to do the same things. He changed as the season went along, which I think helped them be more successful, and which is why I really want to go with Joe Mazzulla.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what he does if he doesn't have the pieces. And
All three of them have.
Yeah, you can make the argument for him. And me, I don't want to act like I'm a Joe Mazzulla hater because I think he's doing a fantastic job. I've always just kind of viewed it where, like, the coach in the NBA, you see a guy like LeBron, for example, or when Tatum's out there, even though he's not vocal, typically you get a star like that, they're orchestrating more than the X's and O's. That's why Brad Stevens didn't really work out. He was a great play caller, but it's more of like a player-driven respect. But Joe Mazzulla is kind of a different kind of coach, and I think he has a strong case to win Coach of the Year, and I think he's doing a fantastic job. I just think Brad
Difference and understatement. That guy.
Yeah, right.
Difference and understatement.
It's just because in the NBA, the way their salary cap is set up, again, to revamp your roster in one off season, the only other guy I can think of is Sam Presti in OKC. There's the only other GM I think who could finagle the team in a way to make it work.
He does it more like in a long over. I think Stevens just like from one year to the next, he can change.
No, yeah, but I think if Sam Presti was in the same position that
Money-wise.
I think he'd still be able to do it if he had the same pieces.
right.
When he went to OKC, he had to revamp it all because they had
nothing.
right.
No, I agree with you.
They traded everybody.
Right.
Remember? Well, that's why they got this team they have now.
They had a lot of picks. That's
Right.
for sure.
All right, so that's our Celtics take for now. If you guys agree, let us know. If you don't agree, let us know. We agree, apparently.
Yeah, and I think we got that from our first episode too. There was a lot of comments tripping in, one way or the other. So guys, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, just keep it coming, and we can once we're done here, you guys can continue the conversation with us on any of those platforms.
All right. Next topic we're going to come up is a good old Red Sox. Everybody kind of starting to get to know how I feel about this team. Die-hard Red Sox fan, love the team. I've supported them always, and I continue to, even though it kills me sometimes. What we're going to try to discuss today is more what would we consider a successful Red Sox season this year. It could be a number of different options. Andrew, you could start us off on this one. Because I know you're talking about Red Sox.
So I'll try not to go on too long for this. So I think what makes a successful season for me is you have to advance further than you did the previous year, right? I'm not saying just making it to the divisional round is good enough. I mean, I think with the way this team is and the being the Boston Red Sox, they had at full disposal the tools, money, resources, whatever you want to call it, to make sure that this team has what it needs to take that next step. So for me, I don't see it any other way. Is anything short of American League Championship Series to me is not a successful season. That's just, you can't have the season you had last year and then either do the same or just a little bit better. Like, you have to be able to make that big jump because they were set up to make that big jump. So I don't think they're going to do it. I hope they prove me wrong, but that's, to me, would be success is ALCS.
ALCS. Wow. Ryan.
You know, man, I hate to go 2 for 2 on agreeing with you, but for me, it's the same. You know, last year it was a pleasant surprise seeing them be a successful team. We didn't know what they were going to be going into last year. They got Crochet, who's an absolute stud. Love that guy. And, you know, the team seemed like it was in position that it was going to improve. You know, we hope that they get to the ALCS or further. We've come to expect them to win championships around here. We've seen that multiple times. You know, that's our expectations around here in New England specifically. I hate to feel like they didn't improve so far in the offseason. They added Ranger Suarez, he's a good arm, very good. You know, he's a good number 2 guy behind Crochet. I love that for the pitching staff. Yeah. I think losing Bregman's kind of a big hit because I don't feel like they really replaced him yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't love the guy from Texas. I think he had like 3 last names or whatever his name is. I forget what his name is, but I don't particularly love the addition at this point. Who knows? Because baseball's a marathon, it's not a sprint. We don't know how it's going to play out. Last year they were better than I thought they were going to be, so this year they could easily be better than I thought. You know, they're going to have Roman Anthony hopefully for a whole season. That guy could win an MVP. Crochet could win the Cy Young. So I like to think that a successful season this year would be an ALCS. Even winning the AL East would be a good step because the AL East is so competitive. You know, Toronto's very good, New York's very good, Tampa's always good. So I would like to see him, and obviously the Yankees, but I'd like to see him make the ALCS. That would seem like a successful season to me. Championship would be great, but progress. You know, Alex Cora is a great coach. He's one that I do respect, you know, the ups and downs, but I think he's great. So ALCS for me, man, I agree with what you said. I think you were spot on.
See, I look at this team, and this is why it kind of disgusts me with this ownership. And we're talking about what would be a successful Red Sox season. We're not a small market.
Right.
A successful Red Sox season is, I'm not saying winning the World Series, but you should be spoken about winning the World Series every year as a Red Sox team. That's just the way I feel. They're not a small market team. Their revenue is up there with the best teams in the league. And again, we keep going to the Dodgers. Everybody knows what the Dodgers is doing, but you've convinced me. Good for them. Good for them. Because they're showing these teams, hey, we're spending it. Red Sox have that capability. They will not lose money. Red Sox, you will not lose money if you spend on players. I mean,
I think the Dodgers already made back what they spent on Shohei Ohtani. They've already made that money.
Easily.
100%.
Easily.
That's a great point.
Don't even get me started with New Balance in Boston.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani. Not even a thought.
I agree with you. Like to pivot back to the Bregman thing, it's like we lose one of our better players. He was a good ad last year, and then you see the Dodgers go and get Kyle Tucker, the rich
Right.
richer. It's like
It's just because they wanted to pay him.
Well,
We brought that up.
And they'll justify it as saying, like, so if they didn't have Bregman, but they had Wilson Contreras, and they're comparable players, which they're not wrong. They are, if you take off Bregman and you have Wilson Contreras, okay, yeah, they are comparable as far as what they're able to produce,
yes.
right? One's a first baseman, one's a third baseman. My argument is that you don't need to have just one. You could have lost Bregman, signed Wilson Contreras, right? And then also, I know they both play first base, but signed Pete Alonso, and one can DH, and then one can play first, right? And even at that, you could sign Pete Alonso and not go after Wilson Contreras, right? And then re-sign Bregman. Like, you don't need to
100%.
have, you know, that would make more sense to me is you pay Bregman, you pay Alonso,
Yep.
right? And now you have Bregman, but you also have another power hitter. You didn't need to do that. I mean,
Yeah, you're 100% right.
and it's the trades it's the moves they don't make.
I think you're spot on with the way and Alonso is the one for me because Schwarber, we all like Schwarber as well. I didn't think we were gonna get him anyway because of this.
And he's a lefty bat, and they already have a lefty heavy lineup.
So
Alonso was the fit.
And he came to your division. You let
Yeah.
a team in your division that
Baltimore.
might be better than you now.
That's right.
So that's the stuff that kills me with this team. It kills me. And then, like you spoke about last week, and we could do it all the time, the Suarez move was, I want to say panic move, but it was like, oh my God, we lost him. We got to get somebody. And they do it all the time.
Well, and what makes me nervous with the Red Sox and their potential success for the season is everyone talks about pitching and defense. Yes, you need pitching and defense. You also have to score runs. And the perfect example for me, recent example, is last year. If you look at the Rangers and their offense, they had more talent. I think they had more talent overall than what the Red Sox potentially have. But the Rangers were top 10 in pretty much every pitching category. Their record was 81 and 81.
Right.
And they were top 10 in pitching. And they had Corey Seager at shortstop. They had Marcus Semien at second base, right? It wasn't like they had a bad defensive team. They had a good defensive team, and they had a top 10 pitching staff. And they went 81 and 81 because they couldn't score enough runs. So this whole idea of, well, the offense should be about the same, but the pitching's so much better, you can't guarantee the offense is going to be the same because you're expecting guys like Willie O'Brien to make an improvement, which I think he will. But then you're putting a lot on guys like Roman Anthony, Caleb Durbin. Like, Caleb Durbin was third in the NL Rookie of the Year race. Okay, hey, that's great. He also only had 11 home runs and 53 RBIs. So, yeah, that might increase at Fenway. But, again, it's his second year in Major League Baseball. So there's a lot of ifs.
I'll be honest with you. Even, and again, we could talk about the Red Sox for a while. We're going to keep these things moving. But even getting Caleb Durbin, to me, was, it kind of stunts a little bit Marcelo Maya. Honestly, I really feel that. Because now you're giving the kid the third base. I thought Marcelo Maya was.
Well, so Caleb Durbin played second. I think he played second today in the first inning. They don't even know if he's going to play third.
Supposedly, what I'm hearing is he's their third base.
Right.
They're giving him the job. I mean, giving him the opportunity.
Right.
But you know what I mean with Marcelo Maya? The kid, first round pick, unbelievable talent. Yes, he hasn't been what we've thought. But again, now you go get Durbin, which could be a good player.
Right.
I just think the moves they make are always.
No, that's the thing. I think Durbin could be a good player, but it's like they're just relying on these young kids who could be good when they have the resources to go get.
You don't need all of them.
The guys who have already proven to be.
Right. Yep. Right. You don't need all of them.
That's frustrating.
I do think Abreu's going to have a career year. Whatever that means for him, career year.
I think
I think the kid is. And you know what one of my favorite things is about him? He tries with everything. And you could see him just trying, even with the fans.
Oh, he's a ball player.
But even with the fans, and his English ain't the greatest.
Yeah.
But he goes out there and he tries. You know, I like him. Ever since he first came, there's something about him, and then he got that rocket arm.
Oh,
He got that rocket arm.
I will say a guy that I kind of like that I didn't mention until just now. I kind of like the ad of Sonny Gray. I know that he's not a name that gets a lot of love, but I think as your third or fourth starter, man, like he was a Cy Young candidate not that long ago. I think he's like sneaky good. I think that was actually.
Oh yeah, especially as your number 3.
Yeah, I
if
think
they was your number 4, like their rotation should be one of the best.
Yes, I agree with you.
Did you guys hear him today when
He likes threes. He loves threes.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't realize he was never here. I hated him when he was in the Yankees.
Yeah.
We never get to know
I didn't
him
hear the
a
interview.
bit.
I didn't hear the interview, but I heard.
Yeah, he's a character.
The morning show, I told to ask about how he loves trees.
Yeah. And I heard that he is apparently a Bregman type of teammate with his fellow pitchers.
Yeah.
I've heard, which is great because we got some young kids, I think, that can use that. And don't sleep on Hurley. I get a feeling.
I love the pitching up and down. It's just
I get a feeling early.
You know, it might be addition by subtraction, right? Maybe Bregman being out, he was getting older. Maybe it flows better.
Right.
Who knows, right? It would have been nice to get Alonso though and keep Bregman, but who knows?
Alonso's the one. So now keep it moving. This team just finished as what we talked about last week as a very successful season. Our Patriots. And this upcoming season is super important to the Patriots. I know we do have an Eagles fan with us. We're going to allow him to.
The green on the chair on the couch is not to support his Philadelphia Eagles thing. It's a Boston Celtics thing. We even have the pillow here.
We're going to allow him to speak on it. All right. So ultimately, as Eagles, Patriots, we beat them once. They beat us once in this bowl. So, right?
We can all get along.
Yeah,
we can all get along.
So the question we want to focus on is your biggest position of need that you feel, and right, or improvement, however you want to word it, and who you feel free agent wise that they can pick up to fill that need. Right?
Sure.
So I'm going to start off first with this one. And anybody who knows me as a Pats fan, I love flashy. I always been. I love when they, and people will tell you, when they drafted Richard Seymour, I was pissed.
Yeah.
I wanted David Terrell. I believe it was that year. Am I right? I don't know if you guys remember.
I'd have to.
David Terrell was that wide receiver coming out of Michigan, I believe.
Yeah.
And I wanted David Terrell. Richard Seymour? Who? What? What are you doing? It was a high pick, I remember. And I'm pretty sure it was David Terrell. It was a receiver. I think it was Terrell. And they made a good
They made the right pick, right.
So to me, as a Patriots fan, what I want to see the Patriots do, and biggest need, there's a few. I won't even bring them up because you guys might touch base on them. I'll hit them after if you don't. I would love to see this team add in the wide receiver. And again, it's hard to, the wide receiver room, even though I thought substantially better last year than the year before. Does that have to do with McDaniels and May? Yes, all of that. But as good as we thought May was, I gotta give credit to Diggs, Booty. Some of those catches these guys were making were fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But out of all the free agents, it's hard for me to say because the top two, in my opinion, ain't leaving. Both teams have already said they're going to franchise them if they don't work out a deal, and that's Pickens and Pierce. To me, we're fit with Drake May. Oh my God, even Pierce, Alec Pierce. But apparently, I don't know if you guys have heard any different. Indy said they're tagging them if they don't work out a deal. So I didn't pick up. I would pick either one of those guys. just put it that way. But to me, what this team has, as many young players as this team used last year, as young a team they still are, one thing they lacked in that wide receiver room, and this guy, Mike Evans, to me, would bring to that team, especially in the end zone. He has been phenomenal in his career. 108 touchdowns, 866 catches, 13K yards, 12 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start his career. He's just that guy to me. Drake May, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't bring back Diggs. I want them both. I really do. But I just think a guy like Mike Evans is not just what he can do on the field. We've all seen it.
Right.
The touchdowns, especially. I think they lacked. If you look, they were in the bottom of the league in wide receiver touchdowns. And that, it was an issue. He great at that. But again, you guys know how I am character guys. He's a character guy in that he never wanted to leave Tampa. He's always been, wanted to stay here. I think now he sees that he's almost done, and I really believe him with McDaniels and May and Vrabel would just add more veteran leadership to the team and give them that red zone threat that I think that they lacked, and to me, the most important, in my opinion.
Well, I agree with the position of need.
Okay.
Like, I do feel like, it's tough to critique the Patriots too much, right? They just had an incredible turnaround. They went from 4 wins to the Super Bowl and, 14 wins. And it was incredible. And I think the one thing that was pretty exposed in the Super Bowl was the fact that, two things. Drake May had limited time and that the receivers he was throwing to just really weren't open. I think Booty did a great job throughout the season. I think Diggs was awesome, but they kind of took Diggs out of the equation until he had that long catch late in the game when it was almost garbage time. And a true number one will go a long way. Could it be Evans? Evans makes a lot of sense in terms of the red zone because that is something they were lacking. A big guy can get up there and he's going to score touchdowns. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. It's fitting for me to touch on the rumor because everyone in New England has heard on it, and A.J. Brown's very connected to Mike Vrabel, right? Like, they could be working out a trade as we speak. Philly is not scared to make moves. We have an aggressive GM. We go out and make moves. He was clearly disgruntled, the entire season last year. Clearly. He's reading books on the sideline. He's not a headache in the locker room, but the focus was always on what's wrong with A.J. Brown.
Before you continue with
Yep.
as an Eagles fan, it's interesting. And why do you think, because it feels like him and the head coach kind of got along, right?
Sirianni's he's a pretty acquired taste. And when you butt heads with him, he seems very dislikable. And personally, as an Eagles guy, we've had a lot of success with him. But there's something that's just not likable about him. He makes a lot of decisions that I'm always like, why aren't you just taking 3 here? Why are you going for this money down? Why? It's questionable, but they win, so it's tough to question what he's doing. It seemed disconnected. I think Philly, I think Devonta Smith would be an incredible wide receiver if he was the one.
Agreed.
Do I want more? I don't want A.J. Brown to go anywhere, personally, right?
Right.
I like having Brown. I like having Smith. I like having Saquon. We won a Super Bowl. Obviously, I don't want any of them to move, but it does seem strongly like A.J. Brown is linked to Vrabel. He drafted him. I heard that he left Tennessee, got fired because of them moving off of A.J. Brown.
100%.
If all this is true,
That started the whole
I think-
downfall.
I think Evans as a free agent is somebody that you look at, but I think that they're currently kicking the tires to see what's up with A.J. Brown. And the other thing, before I pass off to you, Andrew, that I just want to talk about is I've seen recently in the news about Trent Williams, who's aging, right? He's 38 years old. I heard that they're having issues coming to contract terms with San Fran and Trent Williams. And I think Will Campbell's going to be a stud in the league. I think he was a stud until he kind of got banged up. I think it would take a lot of pressure off him if you could get Trent Williams for a year and move Will Campbell inside or move him to the right tackle side. His development would kind of improve, I think, learning from a guy who's a Hall of Famer. So for me, it's touch the line a little bit, get yourself a wide receiver one, and I mean, they only needed to win one more game to be the best team in the league, right? So they're pretty close. That's where I stand on them.
See, this is where, and I think me and you differ when it comes to flashy.
Yeah,
right? It's just
completely.
It's just because obviously the flashy moves are nice and they're easy to talk about, because they stick out more. But for me, to one of the things you mentioned first, Ryan, was if you look at the biggest issue throughout the entire playoffs, part of it was Drake May holding the ball too long at certain moments, right? Because he likes to go downfield. But there were also a lot of times where he didn't have time to throw. And I think that affected him where he probably had throws he could make, but his clock was probably speeding up in his head, which made him hesitant to make the mistake, right? And he just, like you said, Will Campbell, in part, I think Elliott Wolf mentioned this. I guess the Patriots were saying that after his injury, he didn't seem to have the lower leg strength that he had beforehand. I mean, I'm no expert in that. So that's just what they said. But again, so even if he comes back next year at left tackle, he probably could be better, right?
Agreed.
But when you're looking at what the Patriots could do to upgrade, even if you think Will Campbell is going to be a tremendous offensive lineman, okay, move him to the right side where you have aging guys like Morgan Moses, right? Who I like, and he was good in the locker room, and he did well for the Pats, but he's also getting old. If you can move Will Campbell to the right side and then sign a guy like Rasheed Walker, the offensive tackle from Green Bay, who's going to be a free agent, who was one of the highest graded left tackles in the league.
Pass blocking.
Yeah. So I think if you get him at left tackle, then you move a guy who you think's going to be really good to the right side. Now you've kind of had those solidified, right? And then they can figure out the middle. I think that's more important because then you can also, you're spending your free agent money there, and then you can make a trade for a Brian Thomas Jr. or who I want is A.J. Brown. As much as he could be a headache, right? He's obviously openly multiple offseasons talked about how he's a Patriots fan, right? Went on Edelman's podcast and everything.
Week.
And and then because Edelman goes, "Oh, we're all," he goes, "Oh, we're all Patriots," and then,
And he did that week.
yeah, right. And then even Mike Vrabel at the combine talked about how he was texting AJ Brown about how he's so happy how the father he's become and the husband and all this stuff, but he's such a great guy. But if it doesn't mean that anything will happen, but it's just the relationship that they have is so positive that to me, I'm like, spend your money to go get this guy, then trade for AJ Brown, restructure him. He'll probably be open to it if he wants to be a Patriot and play for Mike Vrabel. So then you still have, and then even if they move on from Diggs, that's an upgrade. So you've upgraded your offensive line, that's the main thing. But then you can also do these other moves. Whereas I think if you spend your free agent money and go get a receiver and spend your money there, how much money are you going to have left over for something like the line, which isn't sexy, but is going to save your quarterback. So for me, I start offensive tackle. I go after Rasheed Walker, or like you said, Trent Williams in San Francisco.
I didn't even know about anything.
If that opens up,
that would be amazing. Yeah. I think as far as the offensive line, obviously when we bring this up, that comes up in anyone's mind is the offensive line. Mm-hmm. I think personally, the left side of the offensive line, regardless of spot, I would feel comfortable even if they went and got a left guard and kept Campbell at tackle. Mm-hmm. I think that left side, because ultimately Wilson is your center. Bradbury was a fill-in, could be already next year. Wilson was drafted as a center. He's going to be a center. Granted, I think that left side, regardless, and one of the main reasons I didn't pick left tackle is just because I don't know if Walker is a guy that is a difference maker at left tackle. You know what I'm saying? I would want to see, ultimately, and I say flash, you know what I would like if I'm Elliott Wolf? I'm trading for A.J. Brown or Jefferson. I'm trading for Max Crosby. Let's go. Bring them all. You know what I'm saying? They all want to play with Vrabel all of a sudden, but we all know that ain't.
I mean, the name that I heard pop up, if they don't get A.J. Brown, that I popped up today, that I think the Jaguars might be shopping, is Brian Thomas Jr., which I think he had a down year, I think, compared to his rookie year last year. But, again, you put him in this system, I think he's talented enough that if that's like your secondary option at wide receiver for an acquisition, then that's still on.
I like with May, I think is a deep, you know what I mean? A deep Alec Pierce would be.
I know, but it all depends. So we haven't had a chance to see this. It all depends with Josh McDaniels, and is he going to? Because his offense does not necessarily, if you think about it, fit Drake May, right? Because Drake May likes to go down the field, but if you look at Josh McDaniels' offense, a lot of it is you have to have that guy in the slot, right? The Welkers, the Edelmans, that can get open, and then the quarterback has to get him the ball. They don't necessarily have a guy to do that good enough. But he's not. Right. They can still make it upgrade. But is Josh McDaniels now going to adjust his offense to go more down the field like Drake May likes to do? Or is he going to keep his offense the way he has it, but then because he thinks Drake May can adjust to that? That's what I think is going to be interesting to see.
I don't know if you want to speak on that.
I mean, the guy who might be a good, if you could retain him, if you could keep Diggs around, I mean, he's getting older. You play him in the slot, put him in that West Welker role. I mean, that guy, he's got hands.
I thought that right away.
He made a lot of sense.
Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, Mike Evans on that outside. I think Diggs in the inside like that would make a ton of sense.
They'd have to restructure Diggs though, because there's no way to pay him $20 million.
Yeah, right. And I think his cap hit's even more.
No, I thought it was 20.
It could be. It could be. I'm not that good with math, so. Okay. So again, people, we'll bring this up every once in a while. Please go check us out on all our social media accounts. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Twitter. Or did we get kicked off Twitter? We're working on it.
We didn't do anything.
YouTube. I don't know what this guy's doing on Twitter. We'll find
post, I guess, and we broke the rules. I don't know.
But yeah, just come follow us again. Remember, we're at 508 Fade Room. Thank you, Ashley. She's actually my godchild. Love the girl to death. Thank you for allowing us to do this here.
Yes, thank you.
Again, Mikey Lopes.
Yep.
Big shout out to Mikey Lopes for making us this cool 3D artwork, we'll call it. And we're going to move on. Next topic, again, I just want to bring up the Bruins just a tiny bit. Not so much getting into them yet. They haven't. I think it's today their first game. Maybe
First
today
game
or
back,
tomorrow.
yeah.
They are in a
Good for the big one.
The Bruins ultimately, again, and they're that team for me that I brought it up last week. We didn't speak on that much, and I we don't have to touch base too much. They're that team that when you don't expect them to do well, they do. They do better than you think. They're in a playoff spot. They're a wild card right now. They actually like 3 games in hand of the team right behind them.
Columbus is right behind.
Yeah, but isn't Washington 2 there or something? But they got 3
They could
games in
be, yeah.
hand. So, again, surprising. Marco Stern, we talk about Missoula. Marco Stern surprising the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys want to touch base on the Bruins a little bit.
I think they're a team that they're over. They're doing better than I thought they were going to do, and I think a lot of Bruins fans thought they were going to do.
The owner's stuck.
The owners are going back to sucking. But I don't know if it's sustainable. They're too hot and cold. They've had these streaks where they 7 games,
Right.
7 games winless, right?
Yeah.
But then they'll go on like a 7-game winning streak,
Yeah.
and it's just I don't know. Swayman, even though he's playing better, his goals against last year was 311. I think he's at like 2.9 right now.
Yeah.
So, but I just don't know. He doesn't feel like he's playing at that level, like a goalie that can carry you through the playoffs, even if you make the playoffs. And what sucks about that is hockey is that sport that all the time you see an 8 or a 7 seed just make a run if your goalie's hot enough, right? And even up and down. I mean, Morgan Geeky's having a hell of a season where I think he has like 32 goals. Obviously Pasta's leading the team in points. I think he's like 74. So they have pieces. I just don't. It doesn't seem like a team that it's sustainable.
I'm with you, man. I think Sturm's doing a good job. I think it's nice that they're in the playoff hunt at all. I would love to see Swayman being the best goalie in the league. He was paid to pretty much be the best goalie in the league.
Yeah.
So even last year was kind of a letdown. When they invested in him, it's kind of like how good he was in the playoffs and then invested in him, and he's kind of been a letdown. Pasternak's incredible. Geeky's been great. Hopefully they get in. If Swayman starts to play like the goalie he can be, maybe they make a run. It's nice to see them in contention, but I think Sturm's doing a good job. They've been going through the coach carousel for the last few years.
Right.
I think he's got them on a good path. So they're an exciting team, that's for sure.
The one I think too, that gives me a negative feeling about this Bruins team is, and again, I think they'll make the playoffs. They're in a playoff spot right now. I think they're streaky enough, but I think they'll pull it out. It's just I don't know if they have a player that's a bona fide leader on this team. And I don't mean that as a knock against Pastrnak. I just think he's one of those talented players that is you need him. He's going to score you a lot of goals. He's going to help you win a lot of games. But who's the leader in that locker room right now?
Nobody has a C. There's nobody with a C on the team.
Right. And McAvoy is not that guy either.
Never seen that.
Especially with the Olympics. I think McAvoy showed he's one of those guys that he's super talented. He'll help you win games, and he's a great player to have if he has other talented guys around him. Right? I think that goes back. They just lack in a leader.
That part with McAvoy, we talked about it last time. The Bruins were always my team. I loved the Bruins more than any other team. Patriots, regardless. But watching them now, even a guy like McAvoy, I so bad wanted him to be the next great defenseman. We went from Ray Bork to Chara to McAvoy was that guy. Not even close. We talk about, I don't know if you've seen all the playing time he got on Team USA. Do we all know why he got that playing time out there? Do you guys know why? I don't know if it had something to do with his father-in-law, the head coach, but could have.
Yeah.
But
to his point though, he did make that.
And he was playing with Quinn Hughes.
He made a save.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where the puck was getting by. And he was there. You don't see him make those plays for the
We're going to touch base on that, but he also was Quinn Hughes'
right.
Yeah. That guy's going to be on the ice. I'd put that guy on the ice all game if I could. So that had something to do with it as well. So I guess we're all surprised by the Bruins, kind of. Not surprised, but just same.
You hope they get hot enough at the right time.
They ain't going nowhere. They do have some good young players coming up. They got that kid James Higgins they drafted. I don't know if you got out of BC. He's still there. He is elite talent. He's got some elite talent that by next year should be. I'm talking Team USA, everything. This kid, I think personally, can be. They got lucky to get him, but hopefully they don't. And the Bruins are that team again. They don't. They seem like the Red Sox type of ownership group, where it's just about kind of, staying competitive and being okay because there's so many Bruins fans and they go to the games,
Right.
they buy the merchandise, and again,
Well, the Jacobs family for years was notorious for just not wanting to spend money and this, So I mean, we'll see how it shakes
he's a
out.
businessman. And the one thing I'll give him the credit for, I remember years and years and years ago, he admitted it. He said, "I'm a businessman."
Yeah.
At least,
Just be upfront.
Henry doesn't say it.
No.
At least he said it.
Yep.
I'll give him
Yeah.
credit in that. It doesn't mean I like it, but at least the guy's like, hey, it's,
Yeah, no, the Red Sox ownership like to say
Yeah.
that they're not money
But they are.
focused, but they are
They
money
are.
focused, right? Yeah,
We
they
all-
are as
we all
smart as
understand.
everybody else. So
So now we're winding down to the end of the show. We cannot not touch base on that USA.
yeah,
Whichever one of you guys wants to start us off, give us. I think what's cool about this, and think about this. This might be one of them things that we remember where we were when that goal happened. You know what I'm saying? Who you will win. And it's simple. When I tell you where I was, you guys are gonna laugh, but.
might not want to be a lot more than mine.
Probably not.
So thanks for technology, right? And, God forgive me. Okay, but we went to mass during the game. So don't listen. So don't you think? And I listen. And my kids will be like, what? Because I'm always like, when I'm at church, it's like, hey, this is what
Yeah,
you do.
quiet.
You pay attention and just oh yeah, I know, right? So me saying all these things, you got to listen. Pay attention and this and that, right? Oh yeah, I know. I pulled up my phone, Peacock app. Hockey team. I'm like this. I have it off to the side. I have the book like this, and I'm like this. They're in that. I get it.
He's watching.
I know. I'll have to go to confession. But then I get a text from my sister-in-law, and she's like, "Hey, pay attention."
So she saw
She
you.
was behind me. So then my daughter even goes, "Oh, he's watching the hockey game."
So I think God will forgive you.
Yeah.
That was like one.
And then I know. What's even better is I didn't even realize there were two kids behind me. And so one of the kids realized what I was doing.
He was watching.
So now he's peeking over like this, and the mom's like trying to get his attention, and all of a sudden he's like, USA! And she's like, shh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they won, but they won,
Yeah.
so it paid off.
So what was your biggest take from that?
Honest, it was a crazy game to watch because for me what stuck out was the pace. I just felt like both teams were so just motivated and focused
Oh, it was
that it was up and down. Just the way they were moving, just the crispness of their plays. And there were so many times where I had to hold my breath because I thought Canada was going to score.
Oh.
Like it seemed like Canada played better than the U.S. for most of that game.
the last second and third period. Absolutely.
Yeah. But they just, 46 saves from, it was just, yeah.
He was just the man possessed, man. It was incredible to watch him.
But again,
the reason.
we just mentioned, but you see that highlight of Charlie McAvoy. You don't see him make plays for this, I feel like, for the Bruins, where the puck gets by just the way it is, and then he throws his body in the way, knocks the puck down, and they end up clearing it somehow. And I'm like, why can't you do that for the Bruins?
You want to say a little more?
I thought.
Where were you watching it?
I was at home. I wasn't anywhere cool.
Right.
The church thing, I was
Yeah.
just at home chilling. But yeah, I just watching goaltending like that and such a high stakes, man, making these saves, you're holding your breath. He's diving with the creature, like, oh my god, just goes to overtime. It was a fitting story. It was amazing. Like I thought it was great. It's great to see him win.
It was
Beat
awesome.
Canada at their own game, man. It's just that it was incredible.
It was awesome. It wasn't as funny as yours. You're right. It was. I was actually in Atlanta, as you guys know,
yeah.
and I was on the phone because my flights were canceled. So I'm watching the game basically in the hotel room while the phone. I wasn't literally on the phone. I had it on speaker, and it just hear it. And it just so happened that I was literally on the phone with Southwest Airlines when they scored. And I jumped and screamed, and my wife was screaming. it was cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was able to watch the whole game, and there's moments, I think, and the Winter Olympics do this more than the summer, I think. I don't know why.
I think so.
I don't know why. There's moments, and to me, the goal, the way it happened, the kid it happened to, who like, he's so much talent. His brother is one of the greatest in the league right now. And he's got the talent. He's just, I don't know if he's lived up to it yet, and was almost not even made the team when it came down to it, and he got the goal. The interview, you guys see the interview when he was coming off the ice with the flag draped over him, they're missing too, and he's like raising his hand, and he's like, this is what it means to be from USA. Like, I'm getting goosebumps still from that, and the moment, and then to me, we're getting a picture, and I think I brought it up to you guys. That picture with them, that they like recreated the picture from 1980. I don't know if you've seen it, but then they went and get Johnny Gaudreau's
That was the
two kids and brought them in, and the picture I saw, and the two kids are like, their smiles are like, wow, and that's what it's like.
Especially because in that moment, right? You just won the gold medal, you beat Canada, and it's like for them. I'm sure they probably talked about it. But it would have been so easy for them to forget that.
The kids.
Right.
Yes.
And then afterwards, we should have,
Yeah, because Gaudreau's on that team.
Right, for them not to forget that, that just made it even more special. One thing I wanted to ask real quick, what are you guys' thoughts on the 3v3 overtime? Because I know Canada's coach was complaining about it. He wasn't complaining about it when they won an OT. But
so to me,
I don't mind the 3-on-3 because you have 3 periods, 60 minutes to win 5v5, right? And if you can't do that, right, then you adjust it a little bit. I don't mind the 3-on-3.
I personally, I don't feel in the regular season of the season games, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But in stuff like that, the only reason why I say that is because I personally think USA was at a huge disadvantage in 3-on-3.
Right.
Because you're one of them teams, like say you're a Bruins team, I'll use that example. You're a Bruins team who fights all game. That's your style. That's how you win your games. You battle in the corners. You 3-on-3, you're going to lose most of those. When you're a team built like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you could completely take a team's strengths out of it. You know what I'm saying? When you do that, in those situations. That's the only thing I don't really like about it, because, man, they had the 3 best players in the world on the ice when USA scored. To me, those are the 3 best players. You know what I mean?
And they almost scored before that.
Yes.
And then USA got possession, and that's it. Yeah.
I love hockey. Nate McKinnon, if you're hearing me, dude, shut up. Honestly. I mean, really.
Yeah.
He had the game. He missed an open net. And he's a righty. Yeah. It's right there, dude. I mean, I get it. You're a great player. It didn't go your way. Shut up, dude. Honestly. Because that was embarrassing, I think, the way he cried. He missed it. And he's the one who gave up the puck in his own zone. So, go back to Canada. Honestly. So, we all agreed that was awesome. And I don't know, it sucks.
What made it even better, though, is that the women won it before that, and they beat Canada. So it's like, to beat Canada twice at their own game, at the same Olympics, was just...
You know what sucks almost in a way, though? I don't know if it'll... Because I think now USA got there. Mm-hmm. So if they win again, I don't think it'll be like this one.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Canada was the team.
Yeah.
USA's been, and I'll be honest, man. USA hockey, I'm saying, has been leveling up for years. They've been trying, and I think it's there because again, I still think Canada ultimately, if you took those 2 teams, Canada had the 3 best players.
I think they always will.
And then depth for the rest, I think USA had it. On depth-wise, you know what? I really do. Yeah. If you look at Canada's bottom half of that roster, and granted, they also take guys that are a little late in their careers, giving them that, that career little thing here beyond the team. You could win a gold medal. They tend to do that sometimes. But again, I think USA is. I mean, you might not be level with them, but
No,
it's,
but it's right. They're getting more competitive than
yes,
than
100%. So now, next section is going to be our quick hit section. We brought it up last week. I think it went pretty cool. I'll ask the questions. These guys give me answers. I'll let them know what I think about their answers. Usually I don't agree, but we'll see what happens today. So, which Boston team has the brightest 3-year future?
first.
For me, 3-year future, I'm going to say the Patriots. I think that they rebuilt in a very quick fashion. I think that their Super Bowl window is now, and I think they're only going to improve with Vrabel and Drake May.
Andrew?
For me, it's the Boston Celtics. I mean, you look at they have still young talent. Brown's 28, Tatum's 27. He's going to be healthy now. Coach, GM, Boston Celtics.
Boston Celtics. For me, it's FC Porto. Oh, wait a minute. They're not. They're not a Boston team. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Don't forget, we still have. I know it's 508 Sports, but we didn't forget.
We couldn't refuse.
Yeah.
That's for one special person out there. You know who you are. So, 3 years. I got to agree with the Celtics. Still, as much as I think the Patriots are there, Red Sox should be. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
One of us should have said Red Sox again, and we can't because it's just the way it goes. But I would agree with him on the Celtics. I think Patriots are right there. Bruins, I don't know.
You just don't know.
So, yeah. Revolution, another cellar dweller. Thanks, guys.
Great start this season.
All right. If you had to put money, guarantee your house, which Boston team gives us a parade in the next 5 years?
Celtics.
That's almost the same.
Celtics. It's gotta be
Celtics.
Well, to pivot, my answer for this one was the Celtics because I think they've shown they can win. Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum.
If you're going to bet the house,
Championship window, give me the Celtics.
if you're going to bet the house, all right. Now here's an interesting one.
I know my wife would be like, "You better not bet our house on anything Boston sports related." But if I had to, that's what if I was going to, without her going, it'd be the Celtics.
Here's an interesting one. Single most important person in Boston sports right now. Player, coach, front office person.
You know, to continue to beat the drum, man, I think that Adam Vrabel was just massive to the Patriots. You know, I don't want to go 3 for 3 on Patriots stuff on the quick hits, but I think Vrabel was huge. It just made everything just different.
Man, So to switch it up, I know it's supposed to be quick here, but I'm going to say Alex Cora. Because to me, I was going to say Drake May, right, his continued development. But for me, it's Alex Cora. Because if there's one person who's going to get this team on the path to help get them to where they need to be, and if there's a sport where I think the manager means more compared to other sports, it's baseball.
Oh, yeah, because the decisions throughout the game.
And I think he's one of the best in baseball. So, but how he's able to get this team to play a certain way and help these young kids develop is, I think, I would right now say he's probably the most important person in Boston sports right now.
Okay.
I like that.
That's a good point. I wasn't expecting Cora, I'll be honest with you, but to me, we talk so much about Brad Stevens, you know, in what he does, but when he does have Tatum and Jalen Brown.
Right.
It does help. I hate to agree with these guys all the time. That's literally
That's
Mike.
my favorite part when we don't.
I said it last week, and I'll continue to say it to anybody. I don't care what player this team brings this year, last year. Drake made right now most important decision Bob Kraft made was getting Mike.
Right.
Again, I compare it to. I know we got Belichick, and Belichick is the guy who. But I compare it to Parcells. When we brought Parcells, it was a system changer. You know, Belichick came in and kind of it's that same system. As much as him and Parcells kind of didn't see eye to eye at the end, or when
Yeah.
But Vrabel's like brings in that whole. We seen it. It was
Coach of the year.
remarkable
Yeah.
to watch. It was just crazy, and I really think with that question, that's what it is.
some things just seem to fit, right? Like when you heard Vrabel was coming back, man, it just makes sense. That's why it was AJ Brown.
Well, when he did his Patriot Hall of Fame speech, when he was still the Titans coach,
Yep.
it was just during their bye week, and he came and did that speech. You were just like,
Yeah,
okay.
it kind of.
That's like the club, man.
I'll be honest with you. I was kind of surprised that Tennessee was so okay with all of that. But I mean, he was a player, and he made it was kind of like Pat Riley, isn't he still the president of the Heat or whatever? And he was just in LA for the, you know what I mean, Pat Riley night. So
it was still awkward though, because I think Pat Riley's old enough, right? And what he does with the Heat, I think it's a little different.
Yes, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know, it was. I'm sure
coming back saying, "Hey, Bob, keep that off his."
But I mean, I don't think Vrabel has any love lost for that Tennessee owner, and I think that was kind of already happening. So he was. I'm sure part of it was like, I don't care what you think.
So before we end the show, I didn't bring this up to these guys. I want to do something a little off the cuff with them.
I get nervous with you.
No, it ain't nothing. It's just anything you want to bring up that we didn't talk about. You know, in sports, something that I got something that I thought about, and I just curious what your thoughts are. It's something simple that. And I brought it up on our text thread. What do you think about the baseball tap when you could question the
ABS?
Yeah. What do you think about that?
So I like it. The only thing
and if you guys, for you guys who maybe don't know what we're talking about, I think the rule is you could question a ball or strike now, right?
So the batter, the pitcher, or the catcher are the only three. The manager can't.
Right.
Can challenge an umpire's ball or strike call.
Which is supposed to be the one thing you can't do in baseball is you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's right.
You want to talk about it first, or?
I've had back and forth opinions on whether they should just have it called balls or strikes with the zone, like everything's right, or with the human error, right? And baseball's been baseball for a long time.
Human error.
And it's part of the game. And like we see games where they just call it a tight zone and the pitchers have to kind of adjust and like, you know, they're not going to get it right every time. If it's egregious and they can challenge it, I mean, as long as it's not every pitch, you know, like
there's a certain amount of
so
time
they get
they can do
so
it.
they get two challenges using the ABS system again.
Okay.
If you the whole team,
Okay. If you win, you retain your challenge. The only thing that makes me not nervous, but I like it overall. What's gonna suck is for the umpires, because there was a challenge in spring training. In spring training, there's no limit. They just use it as like a practice.
trying to see how.
There was a call that was overturned. I think he called it a strike, and it was the ABS said it was a ball. And they'll show you on the screen how far it missed by.
Yes.
And it missed by 0.8.
Yes.
So for me, it's like that's close enough. Where if that's a called strike, you're going to really argue that. But I feel bad for the umpires. You know, the umpires are going to have so much more scrutiny on them that. You know, it's just
the thing.
It's tough to call balls and strikes, anyways. So I don't want to go full robot umpires. I don't mind having the ABS because in an important moment of the game, if an umpire misses a call, and I would hope most umpires like, hey, if I miss it by like 2 inches, I'd rather get it right. So I'm happy it's there. The two challenges of retaining, if you get it right. When I read through the rule, it almost seems you get unlimited challenges if you keep getting it right.
That could really slow down the game.
Yeah,
Alex Cora said that he talked about how in the season they're not going to have free reign to do it. They're going to try and use it strategically. So it does add some strategy to the game. It's just going to be tough for umpires when you're in that stadium and like you barely miss a call.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
get it. I don't like it at all. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I think human error in all these sports. It was always part of the game, and it'd be something to argue about when you're watching the games, and it's just part of sport. And now it's almost all gone.
I like how he said for the big moments. Like I don't like it either personally because it's a lot to put that on the umpire. But when you get one that's right down the middle and it's a full count and you're walking together,
I know.
It's like those are rough, you know.
In the other day, there was one where an umpire blatantly missed it. I mean, it was like clear in his zone, right? And I'm not dogging that umpire. It's spring training for everybody, for the players, for the umps, you know. But if you have, say that happened and you had a runner on third and that was strike 3 to end the game.
Yeah.
It was like in the middle of the
Yeah,
zone,
right.
you know, and say he called it a ball.
Oh, you did.
And then it got challenged.
Right.
And then the screen shows it, and you're like, oh, well, actually, that's a strike. So it's like, that's why I don't mind it. I think they need to adjust it, though. What I'm nervous about is that if you don't, you have 2 challenges, but if you get it right, you retain you retain it.
So you could just keep going and going and going.
10 challenge game. That's
Yeah. Now, granted, they've been doing this in AAA for a few years, and I think it added a total of like 59 seconds to an average game. And Major League Baseball, ever since they've instituted some of their changes, they've saved 26 minutes.
okay.
So if by doing the ABS, you're only adding on average, according to AAA.
It's instant when they challenge it. If they
Yeah, so they have like 2 seconds. So the second the pitch comes in,
Yeah, you
they have to
basically
tap.
gotta do it.
If you can't get out, think about it, and then go, you know what?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's got to be
So
instant.
you tap and they show it.
And then it's all.
It's like the tennis.
Oh,
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
So if it's only going to add like a minute to a game, and you're saving 26, so you're not really only saving 25.
I would almost rather if they did that, just go full, no,
See,
you know what I mean? Full, I mean, you still have umpires on the bases
Yeah.
and all that, whatever.
Strike zone.
Strike zone, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather do that, I'll be honest with you. Not, because the guy back there, like you said, he's going to get screwed, because there's going to be one that, this guy's percentage of being wrong is this much. You know what I'm saying? So,
But for baseball, though, it does add a little bit of strategy. And it is, as a fan, if someone challenges it and then they get it wrong,
yeah.
you know,
Give me all over 'em.
and then it's like, and so I don't mind it. The 2 challenges. The only thing I said that makes me nervous is just there should be some sort of limit. So, like you said, it would probably never happen, but you end up with 10 challenges in a game because you keep getting it right. It's like, come on.
So,
That's a little excessive.
okay. Anything else you guys want to touch base on? Or
Not that I think that was a good one to touch on though.
Yeah.
It's new this year,
It
so
is new.
you know.
I know we have some people that our buddy Richie wanted us to talk some PC Friars basketball.
Oh yeah, we should include that though because that's local. But.
Yeah, honestly, Rich, we'll have you on. I know you're a big PC Friars fan. I like PC. I'll be honest. College basketball, man, around here, it just, I follow it. Of course, March Madness, that might be a good time for us to have Rich on here. Because I know he's a big college basketball guy. I love to watch March Madness. It's coming up. We're definitely going to get into it as it comes. That brings me to my final point, and I want to bring up, guys, we want people on here. We've already had some communication with a few different places that we're looking. We were hoping to have somebody on today, but it just didn't work out timing-wise, but we're going to have some people on. If you have any ideas, again, any organization, sports, we want to keep this sports-related. You want to come down, talk to us, let us know what you're doing. We're excited to have you. So, any final remarks?
No, I think looking forward to, like I said, I think getting the local organizations in here and talking to them a little bit, and we've said it a few times, but don't forget, subscribe, like, comment. Just we want to be interactive with you guys just as much as we're interactive with us here. So just keep it all coming.
And Patriots fans, let's give shit to our Eagles fan over here.
I gave a lot of love to the Patriots tonight.
He did. He saw that.
I know. We got the next time they'll show up in like Eagles garb.
That's
so,
awesome.
Don't worry next time. Don't worry.
I'm surprised he didn't have it on, but no.
Lover of all sports.
Yes. As you can tell, guys, we just doing this out of we love sports. We love talking about it. We do it all the time. We got fantasy leagues coming up. All of it. We're gonna try to bring it all to the show. We're looking for our own spot. We got plans. We got big plans. Hopefully it all works out. So, for me, Jamie Silva,
Andrew Cormier,
Ryan Matthew.
we'll see you next time.